avenger of orphans, no executioner for hire. I'm a witcher.
It's been a couple of years since we role-played in the first The Witcher. It was released in 2007. Now the guys behind it are back with a sequel soon, and I've just been watching a presentation of that game and it looks promising. What have you been showing us today?
It's The Witcher 2. It's the first time, one of the first time that we're showing the playable build of the game. It's in the alpha stage, and we're showing parts of Act 1 actually of the game. You could see pretty much all the features that we have in the game except for the story. You could see the new combat, all the dialogues, all the cutscenes, and even some of the mature content.
Yeah, we were treated to some blood and some executions and a boss fight and some dialogue which look really interesting. Can you tell me about the dialogue options and how that affects the game?
It not only affects the game, but it looks different in a second game because we have our own new engine, we have rewritten the engine. It means we have a lot of new tools. Right now we can direct the dialogues in a much different way. You have a lot of more movement during the dialogues. A lot of people can join in, join out. There's no limitation towards number of participants in the dialogue. And of course, as in The Witcher 1, it's still the same in The Witcher 2. You're also obliged to make choices, and the consequence of your choices are not always clear to you. You're not always choosing between good and evil. It's pretty much more like choosing between what suits your needs and what doesn't. So it's pretty much the way we're doing it.
Okay, can you give me an example of one of those choices or conversations when you can choose the path?
Okay. I don't know if you remember the part from the presentation where you try to interfere the execution. You could choose exactly the way you interfere this execution. You get inside it. You could use the authoritative help of your friend Vernon Roach, who's a soldier and who has authority. He could help you. It would probably be quite effective. But on the other hand, you could try to get along with the common folk that was standing under the scaffold and was screaming. And if you did it right, you would not only break the execution, which is the main goal, but probably in the future you would be able to unlock new options because these guys started to like you. So new quests, probably new items. I won't spoil it for you.
So is it easy to go back if I want to try it another way? You know?
Yeah, there is always a replay value in The Witcher. There was a lot of that in The Witcher 1. And since in The Witcher 2 you have a lot more endings than in The Witcher 1, it's probably even better.
And we were strolling around the village where the execution took place, and I noticed that the buildings, when you looked into them, you can see what happened. So there won't be any loading times when you...
No, it's completely doable right now to do a game without even a single loading time. Within any given chapter of The Witcher 2, you won't be loading the game even once. Be it whether you enter different area of the city or of the location, if you're transitioning from town to the forest, or you're entering the house, or entering the, I don't know, the cellar of the house, underneath, anything, the cave. It's all in there, it's streamed, so you won't have loadings. Basically, that's the rule.
Okay. And apart from the villages, what kind of environments will there be?
Oh, a lot of them. All of them unique. And part of that derives from the fact that The Witcher 2 happens on a much wider scale than The Witcher 1, which means that most of the locations will be visually different. They will have a different look and feel. But also, each of the locations that are suited for one chapter of the game have different parts. At the presentation, you have seen parts of it, of Act 1. It was like the riverbank, it was the city, the town actually, it was the forest, elven ruins, there was also arena that you fight with a monster, and that's not even half of the places that we have in here. So there's all of that, and all of them unlocked from the very beginning. You could go there. Of course, it's not always wise to go there, because at the very beginning you're not leveled up enough, but it's not closed. Nothing is like closed, you could go anywhere.
Okay, so you always have the opportunity to try the water out. You mentioned the boss fight. We saw a great big tentacle ripping spectacle. Will there be many of those?
Yeah, I think I don't want to give you a precise number of these huge opponents, but definitely you will encounter each of these in any chapter of the game.
Sounds good. And when you're traveling with your friends, your party, how will it work with giving orders to them and defending each other and so on?
We didn't implement companions that you can order with, that you can order them. We didn't do it that way. It's more story driven in Witcher 2. We really wanted your choices to be based upon whom you want to make friends with. And if you do it, of course, that particular person comes with you and helps you in a battlefield when you, I don't know, encounter monsters or, I don't know, elves attack you in a forest, whatever happens. But it's not like you're commanding these guys. It's more story-driven, and it means that your choices, whether whom you want to choose, shapes the story and drives the story towards probably even different ending, depending on whom you're friends with. So it's more that way than like making it a strategy game, like commanding a party on a battlefield.
And the final question, you mentioned the adult content. Will there be more of the naughty cards that we saw in the first game?
Yeah, I mean, sex and mature content is as much part of the Witcher's world as the monsters or elves or violence. So we won't avoid that. It's still going to be a mature game, probably the same ratings as The Witcher 1. But what we did differently is we rethought the presentational aspect. For example, some people complained about the collector's aspect of sex in the first game. You had these cards, so you pretty much could collect encounters with women. It's not like that in The Witcher 2. It's more bound to the story, and it means that whenever Geralt and some woman is getting close together, we always try to take care that it derives from the story, that it's really connected with things that are going on, and that means that these two persons really want to get together. And of course, the presentational aspect. No cards means more cinematic approach, probably cutscenes or cinematics.
Okay, sounds good. And when are you releasing the game?
The release of The Witcher 2 is Q1 2011.
All right, next year. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.